Hello, my name is Brianna Iser, and I am a senior at Papillion La Vista South High School. For my internship, I time traveled. Every day, I stepped into the past, walking through the internship doors. Through my time traveling experiences, I was able to learn from the past, stay in the present, or plan for the future. Although I didn't have a flux capacitor, or a TARDIS, or any other time traveling device, I did have an internship at the Durham Museum. Today, I would like you to travel through time with me as we explore the past, present, and future of my internship at the Durham. Of course, we'll go in order, so let's start with the past. In 1931, the building was called the Union Train Station. It was one of the busiest stations in the country until 1971 when it shut down. 4 years later, it opened as a museum. For over 40 years, it has had the mission of dedicated to providing guests with a unique experience each time they visit. However, it's not just the guests that get a unique experience. It's also the employees and interns, something I was able to experience firsthand. The summer before my internship, I made a list of all the Leadership Academy 1 lessons I had learned. These include communication, strengths, ethics, and weaknesses. These helped to create a strong foundation for my internship at the Durham. By using these, I was able to apply some skills and lessons from my junior year into my senior year and my internship, helping to provide some skills for my real life situations. Now that we've had a blast from the past, let's step into the present and learn a little bit about my internship. For our internships, we were required to have a mentor at our organization. My mentor was Brittany Hobel-Heinrich. Just like her name, she has a long history at the Durham. In 2007, she began working at the Durham in the education department. However, whenever she had the chance, she was able to move from department to department. She began to work as a volunteer coordinator, then an education specialist, and then a membership manager. And finally, in 2010, she became the special events manager, where she has been for 5 years. Before officially starting my internship, Brittany and I sat down and we talked about her job description. There are 2 parts to her job, internal and external. The internal events are the ones that the Durham hosts, pays for, and creates. These include Christmas at Union Station, Railroad Days, and summer camp programs. The external ones are the ones that come to the Durham Museum, such as weddings, photo shoots, meetings, book signings, and conferences. Getting to hear about all these different events, I was super excited to start my internship. However, things didn't start off as I expected, and it was a little bit of a rocky beginning. I began in August and started going there Tuesdays and Saturdays. For the first 6 times, I made phone calls, asking performers who had performed last year at the Christmas at Union Station events if they wanted to perform again this year. After more than 400 phone calls, I felt like I really wasn't getting any leadership experience or any opportunities. I was just sitting in an office all day. So I decided to problem solve. I set up a meeting with the education director, my Leadership Academy teacher, and Brittany to discuss my concerns and also reiterate what I wanted to get out of my leadership internship. At the end of the meeting, Brittany created a list of all the events that she would be organizing at the Durham, and then also wrote down what tasks and jobs I could do while there. Having this task list helped to make the internship a little bit more clear and organized, and also helped to give me and Brittany a little bit more something to go off. Part of the reason that Brittany probably gave me the more simplistic task of making phone calls is because she probably didn't really know what my capabilities as a person was. She just saw me as a senior in high school and that I wanted to do an internship at the Durham, but she didn't know what my strengths or weaknesses were. So in order to show her, I try to do my best at every job at the Durham. One example of this is during the Halloween hunt in October. My task was to set up the craft tables for families to come and make masks. Instead of just throwing the craft supplies onto the tables, I instead tried to make a nice display and just put a little bit more effort and go a little bit more above and beyond. This helped to show Brittany that I was more capable of bigger tasks, which led me to my first big job, the Ethnic Holiday Festival. For this, the Ethnic Holiday Festival is an event where all the different cultural clubs of Omaha can come together, and there's vendors, there's performers, games, activities, and different things like that just to bring the community together. For that, my tasks were I contacted all the vendors and performers and asked them if they wanted to perform, and then create a schedule for them, and then also handled all the paperwork that they sent in conforms to that. And I also created some games and activities. And at the end, I designed a layout that had all of the food, the crafts, the games laid out for Brittany to see, but then also the people setting up the event to see as well. Before the Ethnic Holiday Festival, there was an information meeting about 3 weeks before. Brittany led the meeting and she talked about where to park, when time to come, what to bring. But at the end, she actually opened it up for suggestions and comments. And many people had great ideas such as extra parking, more games, different things like that. And it's just one of those ways to show that leadership is a two-way path. While Brittany was able to listen to her followers, the followers also were able to listen to her. And this is extremely important in leadership because in society, a lot of times leaders are just seen as the ones directing, always pushing forward. But you have to remember that leaders are also among followers. And that, especially, I try to keep that in mind. I'm the president of my Key Club at school, and so I really kept that in mind after learning about this. I now ask my members for ideas, and then also kind of make sure that we're on the same level. And this really helps to improve the group and leader as a whole. The final big event that I participated in was Christmas at Union Station. It's one of the Durham's biggest events of the year. And it's actually a series of mini events. It starts at the end of November and goes all the way through December. And it's on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And there's games, crafts, activities, Santa Claus comes, real reindeer. So it's the whole shebang. And so part of my task, I was given the position of the Holiday Concert Series Coordinator. So like I said before, in August, I started making phone calls, and that was for this event. I helped to prepare the bands and the choirs and the dancers. I made the schedule for all of them. I contacted all of them, made sure we were on the same page, communicated with them. And then also on top of that, I helped to make the games and crafts for the event during that time. During this, through the Ethnic Holiday Festival, the Halloween Haunt, and Christmas at Union Station, I learned that leadership is all about behind-the-scenes work. A lot of times, followers in the community don't realize how much work goes into a project. They only see that 2-hour event, but they don't see what happens before. Those months of planning, of communication, and working with many different people. So before, there's lots of planning and communication, but then there's also the during and after parts of leadership. During the events, Brittany and I had to run around. We had to make sure everything was going smoothly and keep everything organized. And then after, we had to clean up, reorganize, resituate ourselves, and then we were on to the next event right away. And so this is just a great way because in the future, I'm hoping to be involved in a lot more clubs and activities and organizations. And so I really have to understand that a lot of the work that I do as a leader is not going to be seen by the public, but it's still very important. And I need to make sure that I understand that, and that I don't need praise for that, and that I can communicate well, work with others, and just plan ahead so that the event is an overall success. However, I won't be doing any of these events alone. Just like Brittany, and she had a lot of help from the different departments. There's the exhibit department, curatorial, educational, different ones like that, and they all actually come together. So during the Christmas at Union Station, they all came together to help Brittany, who is kind of the leader of all of it. But they helped her create the games, help her kind of set up everything, break everything down, and also just kind of help be there and volunteer at the events. And so when they're not doing events, they still all work together on smaller projects. They communicate very well with each other and are just comfortable talking with one another. And through all this, being an intern for a special events manager, I learned that I am a situational leader. A situational leader is one that kind of changes their methods depending on the situation and environment. And I think this is kind of a perfect place for me to be at right now. Just because I'll be going to college soon, there's going to be new opportunities, new changes, and I need to make sure that I'm flexible and open-minded to those changes. And then I also need to make sure I understand my audience and environments. So at the Holiday Haunt, I was a little bit more enthusiastic and outgoing and laid back because it was a kid event. However, when we did a book signing, I was a little bit more serious, professional, and I have to understand that I need to change my audience or my mood and the atmosphere depending on those events. And this just helps to ensure the highest amount of success. So now that we remain in the present for a little bit of time, let's use 1.21 gigawatts and head to the future. So even though my internship at the Durham is complete, I am still able to be involved at the Durham. John Sullivan, the educational specialist, contacted me about a month ago asking if I wanted to be a summer camp assistant for the Durham during the summer, starting in June. So this summer I'm going to be helping out the little kids. We're going to be going on field trips, we're going to be exploring the community, and then also just learning about history in the past. So I'm very excited about that, and that's just one way I'm able to still connect with the Durham. And then also, once summer ends, I'll be attending UNO. I'll be getting a major in marketing. And then one great thing is I'll be part of the Scholars Academy. It's the first year of it. There's 20 of us that were selected, and we're going to be doing an internship. We'll have select classes for it. So there's going to be different select classes. We'll have an internship, we'll study abroad, and then we'll also have leadership courses as well. And I think that's going to be a great opportunity to help expand upon my Leadership Academy experience. And then it'll also help me to work with other students, kind of to help them lead, but then